Hey y'all, Tanny Cooks here, and today I'm going to show you in just a few easy steps how to butterfly a lobster tail and then cook it in your air fryer. So let's get to cooking. These are my beautiful warm water lobster tails. They're about £1 each. I buy them from Sam's Club or Costco or my local grocery store. Usually these are $22 to $30 per pound. The warm water, you can see the shell has the spots on them. They also come in different colors of brown or red. The label said that they could come from Honduras or Brazil. Some may also come from the Caribbean. You'll notice this one looks a little bit ashy because I had it sitting on my board under my lights, so it dried out a little bit, but you could certainly add cold water to get it back to its normal look. The first step I like to do is squeeze the lobster shell. You'll hear a cracking noise. This will make releasing the meat from the shell much easier. Step 2 is to take kitchen shears and cut down the back of the shell. It's okay if you cut down a little bit of the meat because as we open it, it will be cut anyway. So just cut down gently until you get to the tail. Step 3 is to turn it over and insert 1 or 2 fingers under the bottom of the shell to help lift the meat up. So when you open the shell, you should see the meat isn't stuck to the shell at all. And then here's another look at using your fingers to get wiggle room in the bottom so that you can gently lift the meat up from the shell. The meat at the end of the tail will stay connected to the shell. Then you want to squeeze both sides of the shell inward so that you can lay the meat you just released on top of the shell to give the beautiful butterfly appearance. Now, next up, I'm going to melt some butter, about a half a stick of butter. I use salted butter because I don't buy unsalted. It has natural flavors in it. Seasonings I'm going to use with the butter include garlic powder, onion powder, Old Bay, and lemon juice. So I let my butter melt and it browned a little bit, and what I'm doing is using a spoon to pull out the milk solids on top. So my butter is a little bit more clarified, although not 100% perfectly. So I let my butter cool a little bit, and then I'm pouring it on my lobster tail. And I let it cool a little bit so I don't burn myself while I rub the butter all around the lobster tails. Now I'm rubbing the meat as well as the shell. We saw how the shell can dry out, so you want to make sure that it is sufficiently moistened with butter or oil. I also add my lemon juice at this time as well as my dry seasonings. I like garlic powder, onion powder on it. If you do not, you can leave it off. It may brown extra when you cook it. I like Old Bay, but you can use any seafood seasoning of your choice. You can even make homemade seafood seasoning. That would be delicious as well. So now I'm just adding a little bit more butter on top of my dry seasonings to help me rub it in all the way. I'm rubbing this into the top of the meat as well as the bottom underside of the meat, and I'm also being very careful to rub the shell well. You want to be gentle so you don't break the meat, and look at how beautiful it looks. Now if the shell seems kind of soft, you might have to reposition the meat on top of it a couple of times. That's no big deal. Now for the good part, we're going to cook these in the air fryer. I'm cooking this on 400 degrees for about 14, 15, 16 minutes, but I'm setting it to 20 minutes so that it can preheat for 4 or 5 minutes. And then I put my lobster tails in. You can cook 1 at a time or 2 at a time. That will impact how long it takes your lobster to cook. If you cook 1 at a time, you might notice as you open your basket that it falls to the side. That's okay. It will still be delicious. And look at this, y'all. Absolutely delicious lobster tails. Now, I cook my 2 at the same time for about 15 minutes. So just be sure to check yours every 5 minutes to see when it's sufficiently cooked, because you do not want to overcook seafood, especially warm water lobster tails, because I find them to be a little bit less sweet than cold water lobster tails, and that's the reason why I like the extra seasoning on warm water lobster tails as opposed to cold water. But again, season it to your taste and just be sure to never overcook seafood.